We had Andrew Urey's philosophy of manufacturing, and Andrew Urey was a Scottish physician and early business theorist, and the philosophy of manufacturing was his most notable work. And this document came at a time during the Industrial Revolution, um, where Europe was transforming the economic and social structure at the time. And during this time, Europe experienced a shift from traditional labor-intensive economy based off of farming and handicrafts to a more capital-intensive economy based off of manufacturing by machines, specialized labor, and factories. And Andrew Urey was a part of the higher class, and the philosophy of manufacturing argued for the side of moving towards an industrial society and push for manufacturing because of the wealth that is derived from owning factories.
So, in this document specifically, Andrew Urey makes a case for the use of new machinery in manufacturing processes. On its face, this may seem like it would put many people out of jobs, but throughout the paper, he claims that it would not eliminate jobs, but would rather replace them with other jobs. He was writing this document in response to the fear that the machines would replace people, so he spends a great deal of time trying to debunk this myth. He demonstrates that, with the machines, the labor will be much less intense and fatigue-inducing, but will still provide a steady source of income for the workers. Urey argues that this improves the health of the workers without detracting any of the benefits of labor. Because of this, Urey says that the reasoning behind the institution of factory machinery is philanthropic, having the best interests of the workers in mind. After making some of his arguments, Urey dives into a bit of history of the factory system, explaining that many of the machines have been in use for years, particularly those for throwing silk. He next talks about the water frames for spinning cotton, which were a more recent invention at the time, and how they revolutionized the process. With the factory systems in place, the need for different levels of skill among the workers shifted. The machines could do much of the skilled labor, but required vigilant people to oversee the process. One of the more controversial benefits of this was that now the owners no longer had to pay skilled men, but could hire women and children and pay them a great deal less, saving a large amount of money for the company. On another note, the use of steam engines required a great deal of labor, though it increased efficiency. Many specific skills were required in order to design, operate, and maintain the engines, as well as the tracks on which they would transport coal. Urey argued that this would create even more jobs, countering any that may be lost. At the end of the document, Urey summarizes by providing 3 benefits that he sees to improving and updating factory machinery. First, updated machines would allow for the creation of goods otherwise not possible. Secondly, a greater quantity of goods could be produced without increasing the time, labor, or wages. Finally, machines would allow for the hire of less skilled workers, which would translate into money saved for the factory on wages.
So, in short, although the steam engines did speed up the production of trade goods, the use of machines did ultimately lead to less workers needed. This made it hard for men that needed a decent wage to find jobs, and most of the work turned over to women and children for less wages, so then the owner or overseer could actually make more money off of the trade goods they were producing. Work conditions were often harsh, and in some cases were actually unsafe. A lot of these kids and women were actually working anywhere from like 13 to 15 hours a day. And so last time I checked, that's really not that good on the body or on the mind. It's really, really horrible work conditions, and so fatigue usually does set in. But with the steam engine, the use of the fuel, this did open up jobs for the need for other goods to expand. But still, with these businesses expanding, they still preferred the cheaper labor of women and children.